Yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome to the Cloud Ninja Podcast. This is Free Game, joined by my boy Ryzen. Black will be joining us later if you guys are tuning in. If you're tuning in later, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let us know what you think about the podcast and what do you think is going to happen in chapter 32 and whatever we discuss in this video right here. You know, we do everything from the top of the dome, nothing is scripted. So, yeah, we decided to start without Black because me and Ryzen was just chopping it up backstage and shit, why not record content if we're going to just be chopping it up, you know? What was we talking about though? This is this lead off of what we was talking about before we jump into different topics. What do we lead off with when we was before we went live?
I think the final thing we talked about was just Boruto content, Sarada and stuff. But the thing I wanted to talk about was
Clickbait titles. All right, yeah, that's what we was talking about. Yeah. All right, go ahead. Who
you know, I feel like a peak clickbait title would be Mamushi versus Damon. But I feel like we've talked about Mamushi. I feel like it gets in people's feelings because you have two sides of things. You have people who believe Damon is the end all be all, strongest person in the verse. And to an extent, yeah, exactly. To an extent, that is true.
Mm-hmm.
So far, we've seen him be the self-proclaimed number one. But then you have people like me who say that can't be a constant. Mamushi might surprise Damon either on a one-on-one situation or just through tactics. But I feel like we've talked about Damon and Mamushi so much, and nothing's really changed, to where I would rather talk about what could be the consequences after that fight. Because at the end of the day, we're gonna know where Damon stands in a week or two. In a week, basically. Next chapter should give us a decent playing field, and then next month's chapter will basically end it off. I want to talk about what could be the consequences of Mamushi being either defeated or getting his goal in devouring Ada. Because I feel like that's something we can have fun with. The Damon argument is just a moot point now. Whether it happens or not, we're still going to have consequences at the end of this arc.
And I feel like people. I'm a rage bait. Sorry to cut you off, but I don't think at this point Damon is the strongest. I don't
think so either. I think there's Jura.
I think it, but like put it like this though, like maybe he was the strongest in part one, but now we're in part two. He has a mystique about him. All we ever heard him do was really talk. I mean, he proved it too when he stomped out Code and he did whatever he did to Boruto and Kawaki. But that was a Boruto and Kawaki before Tubu Vortex. They're not the same Boruto and Kawaki as they was when they were, 14, 13 years old. Boruto is trained with Kashin Koji and blew past 10 years of training that he would have had to do by himself with Kashin Koji and elevated himself to a whole new level. Like Damon, I think he just has a mystique about him right now. It's kind of like Bruce Lee, how everybody thinks Bruce Lee will just beat everybody. Because we've never seen Bruce Lee fight. We only seen him fight in movies. And we've never seen him fight like MMA or anything like that.
Yes. And I feel like the conflict is, yes, we've seen what Damon can do. And he himself says he's number one. But then on the flip side, we have Koji saying that we can't beat Jura. So by that proxy, Jura should be able to get through Damon. But I feel like at this point in time, we can't objectively add new things to that argument of Damon versus Mamushi because we just don't know more. I feel like at this point, we're better off focusing on what the consequences could be because we're already gonna find out the outcome of that fight soon. Because we're literally getting the chapter in like a week or a week and a half.
Right.
So I wonder what the consequences will be politically. Because we got to remember, right now, Shikamaru is screwed. Politically wise. Kobu has seen him interacting with Boruto. He knows something is up between Shikamaru and Boruto. It's just a matter of how this mission goes to show how screwed Shikamaru will be. Because we got to remember, what are we trying to stop in this arc? We're trying to stop Ada's death, but also Imawari's death. We know why Ada could die. We don't know why Himawari is put in a situation where she could die. She could have been protecting someone. She could have gotten in Mamushi's way. Something could have been. We could have had a whole new curveball thrown at us that kills Himawari. But the thing is, how screwed will Shikamaru be in that situation? Say hypothetically, Ada and Himawari both die. I don't think that'll happen. I don't think at the very least Himawari will die. But that's gonna be a whole black mark on Shikamaru's record. The daughter of the former Hokage is dead, and Ada, someone who the village adores because of charm. You gotta remember, the village still adores Ada because of charm. So if Ada dies under Shikamaru's watch, there's going to be a whole ton of consequences on Shikamaru. So it just depends on how screwed he is.
Do you think with Ada dying though, that charm on the people that she captured, do you think that would dissipate though? Don't you think that will go away?
I don't think so, because
it'll be mute at that point.
I think it only matters to people who haven't seen Ada yet. If you haven't seen Ada yet, you're not affected by charm. If she's dead, that's it. But if you've already seen Ada, that's it, you're under her spell. What do we know about omnipotence? Omnipotence doesn't dissipate even if the caster dies. We heard that from Momoshiki. We got to remember,
that's omnipotence though.
We got to remember, what is charm? Charm is just omnipotence cast in a different way.
Right.
Because omnipotence can do everything, quote unquote, supposedly. But Ada,
it's like her deepest feelings coming to fruition.
So Ada wished to be loved by everyone.
Yeah.
Omnipotence acted upon that by charm. So when you see Ada, omnipotence activates and rewrites your emotions. So we've seen, for example, Delta. Even if Delta's not in the vicinity of Ada, she still has that love for Ada.
Yeah.
And sure, it affects a lot of people differently. So like Shikamaru can keep a level head.
Well, they said it depends on your intelligence too, though.
Yes.
Like, yeah. So Delta's kind of simple.
Yes, but we got to remember, for the average villager, they're gonna be simple. When Mamushi was asking a villager about Ada, the villager said, "I'd love to know that too." So we know that a good chunk of the villagers have seen Ada.
Yeah.
So if Ada dies and they still have those emotions toward Ada, because by proxy omnipotence doesn't disappear, they're gonna hold Shikamaru responsible. So now the higher up sees Shikamaru has been kind of committing treason by colluding with a rogue ninja, but he let Ada die, and of course, they know they're being controlled, but still, that's still love. The masses are still gonna mourn Ada, and then add in what Koji saw with Himawari dying. That's basically Shikamaru getting the book thrown by him.
Do you think the Yamanaka clan is ever going to get brought into like the mix? Because it was a mind. Kobu has to know something.
100%. 100%.
He had a mind transfer done on him, and that's a Yamanaka clan specialty.
And Koji, say what you want about Koji, he's not a ninja, but he's analytical as hell.
Oh yeah,
he was able to completely pick apart Shikamaru and Konohamaru. He's not one of those people that are arrogant. He just wants justice. He wants facts. He even didn't hold when he was interrogating Mitsuki. He brought up that he's the son of Orochimaru, but he didn't immediately go for Mitsuki and say, "You know what? I don't trust you because you're the son of Orochimaru." He just brought that up as a fact.
All right. Which
brings up my next point. Let's say Ada does die, right? Politically, that kind of hampers Kawaki. I think Uchiha's here.
Yeah, Black Uchiha's here. What's up, Black?
Yo, what's going on, y'all? How I sound good? I sound clear?
Yes.
Yeah. Whew, man. That was a good ass nap, man. Hey, I ain't want to interrupt your flow. Go ahead, Ryzen. Go ahead.
Oh, perfect timing. I was gonna say, if Ada does die, that leads to a consequence with Shikamaru, but I feel like it also leads to a political consequence between Kawaki. Because who was his main buffer? Ada. Who told everyone that Boruto killed Naruto? Ada. So if Ada's now gone, and say hypothetically, Kobu was never affected.
Ada didn't really tell everybody that. Like they all knew the Hokage was gone before omnipotence was casted upon everybody. So like the roles is reversed. They figured they thought Kawaki killed Naruto. So when the roles got reversed, everybody believed Boruto did it.
But you gotta remember, when that happened, she told everyone that that she didn't know what Kawaki did. She said they were swallowed by a vortex. That was pre-omnipotence. Once omnipotence was casted, he told Ada to tell everyone that Boruto killed Naruto. So here it is, chapter 78. It was definitely Kawaki. I don't know what he did, but the Hokage and his wife were swallowed by a dark vortex-like thing. So that's what she said initially. But the whole premise changes once. I
forgot. I'm going against my memory with the codex. This guy knows the exact chapter and everything that should happen.
The premise changed. They disregard that once Kawaki tells the new lie. So let's see here. We're chapter 80, I think. Here it is. He tells Ada to tell Shikamaru. Shikamaru says to Ada, "Are you sure, Ada?" "Yes, I'm sure. The Hokage was killed by Boruto." So that vortex thing gets thrown right out of the window because now you have Ada saying that he killed him, right? And then later on you have Kawaki Uzumaki, the Hokage's son, confirming it. So you're not gonna pay attention to the dark vortex thing, especially because it could have just been a jutsu that could have vaporized Naruto and Hinata. The fact changes though is if Ada hypothetically dies, right? If she dies,
or they're just in another dimension and died of starvation. I mean, not for real. I mean, they've seen them hop into other dimensions before, so they know it's like it's something that's real life. If he was able to, and then he has a karma seal as well, so he has access to different dimensions. So anybody who's seen that, it's not something that is really hard to make them believe.
Yes. My point is, if Ada does die, right? And Kobu never saw Ada. If Kobu never saw Ada, he's not enamored with her. So he's just going to look at the cold hard facts. If he starts interrogating Kawaki, for example, if Mamushi starts saying, because Mamushi has gotten dumber, if he starts saying that, "Oh, you're Kawaki, Jura's looking for you because he's looking for Naruto Uzumaki," if more of the village starts hearing about these divine trees looking for Naruto Uzumaki, Kobu's gonna start looking into this. On one hand, you have Boruto saving Kobu, out of character in Kobu's mind.
You don't think omnipotence is going to rewrite that in any type of way, though?
No, because you got to remember,
omnipotence
has no bearing on the lie that Kawaki told.
Yeah, so creating memories at that point.
Yes, all omnipotence did was change their places.
Yeah, but then they say something too, though. They brought something up to where it was like, no matter how much Boruto tell them, he didn't kill the Hokage, it's going to rewrite their memory to where they believe he did it.
No.
I'm sorry. It's you're right. No matter how much he says that he's Boruto's Kawaki and Kawaki's Boruto,
they're not gonna get it unless you're like a freak of nature, like Sasuke, who trusted his daughter, or like Shikamaru, who was gaslit by Amado, or Koji, who looked into the future. That's a moot point. Boruto is Boruto. Kawaki Uzumaki is Kawaki Uzumaki. Right. The lie is a different situation. The only reason why they don't trust Sasuke and Boruto about the lie is because they have no reason to distrust Kawaki and Ada.
Yeah.
Once that changes, though, once you get absolute proof that Naruto's alive, then that whole situation comes back to bite Kawaki. And Damon calls him out on it in chapter 14. I mean, there probably isn't anyone loony enough to believe that your positions are flipped, because of omnipotence, but you did outright lie about Boruto killing the Hokage. I wonder how everyone will react when they find out. So, we know for a fact that the Divine Trees know Naruto's alive now. Kawaki confirmed it. So if they start talking out loud, for example, Mamushi, and saying that Jura's looking for Naruto, potentially saving Kobu could have been the right decision politically. Ada hypothetically being removed would politically damage Kawaki, because now you don't have that buffer with charm. People who were never affected by Ada can now ask those questions because they don't care about Ada. She's dead. They never got infatuated with her. If Kobu's looking at
Ada has to die. I'm telling you, like no, seriously, like I'm not even trying to be like I'm not an Ada hater. I like her as a character, but to add more conflicts to the story, she has to go. She's like having her in the story. It gives the not only the leaf. Like, do you see how they had to depower her with Mamushi? She can't even use her. Yeah, she can't even use her Senrigan too much. What that shit called? It's called.
Yeah, it's Shenrigan, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, her Senrigan too often because she's scared that Mamushi is gonna invade her and shit like that, you know? So
yeah,
they had to depower her in some way because they made her way too strong.
Now there is trade-offs.
Get rid of her.
There are trade-offs, like if for example she does die without reversing omnipotence, Boruto just kind of stuck in that gray area. But there is like you said, there is a chance that she needs to go. Like I believe she will either die or get incapacitated because it feels like things are going too good. I feel like there needs to be something unpredictable that happens. But say Ada gets removed, either she's dead or incapacitated. It makes Kawaki more vulnerable to an extent politically, because now you have someone like Kobu snooping around. Yeah. If Kobu is this analytic person that I think he is, he might start questioning why Boruto saved him. He might start questioning potentially if he hears talks about Naruto being alive. I mean, the elders already heard it. What's stopping Kobu from revisiting the facts? What if he asks Konohamaru, do you believe Boruto killed the Hokage? Konohamaru at this point is iffy on Boruto. He's seeing through Boruto's actions that he might be trustworthy, there might be more going on. If he starts suspecting foul play, it won't matter if Kawaki's Kawaki Uzumaki to him. He's going to ask him verbatim, are you sure Boruto killed the Hokage? Why are these divine trees asking about Naruto Uzumaki? Why did Boruto himself say Naruto Uzumaki is alive? Can you confirm it? Oh, I heard that Ada's the one who confirmed it. Well, Ada's dead. How do I know Ada's telling the truth? I feel like politically, Ada's a powder keg because she can harm Shikamaru because the village just loved her in general. But she could also harm Kawaki because that's one less person to protect Kawaki. And once Ada's gone, Damon's not helping Kawaki.
No, not at all.
So, not at all. So the only one in Kawaki's court at this point is Amado, because Ada was his biggest supporter. So I'm really interested to see where they go politically, because we already have the politics biting Boruto as behind, but now it might start affecting Kawaki if Ada gets incapacitated and Kobu starts asking the right questions.
That's the thing. If he starts asking the right questions, though,
and if he does,
he ignores main points though. Like, Boruto saved my life. Boruto saved this person's life. If he's the Hokage assassin as they portrayed him to be, why is he saving people's lives?
And that's what Kobu's trying to figure out, because he didn't say to Shikamaru, why are you working with Boruto? At the end of things, he said the Land of Fire will figure out the truth. He just wants the truth. He's doing his job. He's trying to find out the facts. He has no reason to believe that Naruto isn't a criminal, but now he might actually start thinking it might actually pay off. It could either pay off Boruto's point in saving him and prove Koji wrong, or it could come back to bite him and prove Koji kind of right to where he should have died. I think that's just, we'll just have to see where the politics leads to. And, you know, he's right to an extent. He says, my investigation into you isn't over, Shikamaru Nara. You better not think you can sweep this under the rug. After it all comes to light, we of the Land of Fire shall take whatever action is necessary. You best remember that. He just wants the truth. So he sees Shikamaru working with Boruto. He doesn't know why. He wants the truth. So I wonder if he's going to start interrogating someone like Sarada, someone like Sumire, someone like Kawaki, because Kawaki would potentially be seen with Boruto in this arc. So I really want to see the politics of this.
Yeah. No, I agree. I wonder why the likes of Kawaki or anybody hasn't been really invested. Well, I mean, I guess because they haven't really, in their eyes, had close contact with Boruto.
Yes.
Other people,
but also because the Konohamaru situation took like a long time for some reason. I don't know why. It just feels like, okay, so they brought Konohamaru in. Then a couple days pass. Mamushi enters the village, and we're just now getting finished with Konohamaru, and they're moving on to Mitsuki.
Right.
So it feels like it was just a moment of time where they didn't have much time. So it becomes a
I'd admit
situation.
that point kind of is like a plot hole,
Yeah,
timeline wise.
it's
So
weird. Like it feels like they took a lot of breaks, which they really shouldn't have. I feel like the stuff the stuff with Konohamaru should have happened quicker, but I'll give it a pass. But it becomes a situation where we're dealing with all this political stuff. We gotta remember. Hang on, let me reshare my screen. We gotta remember at the end of the day, the daimyo kind of outranks a Hokage. They're the one who pays their bills. They're the one who gives them the manpower, it supplies. Even back in the original Naruto, when they were having the 5 daimyo summit, they were hesitant on giving the shinobi more power. The ninjas were talking. The Akatsuki possesses Biju. There's no time to waste. They say, and I'll let shinobi first. Perhaps we're giving shinobi too much power. This decision might come back to haunt us. Water daimyo, do you really distrust your own nation's shinobi that much? Well, then first, and then the shinobi dude says, may I suggest you decide now, noble sirs? Battery stores are almost depleted. They decide to cast their votes, but it was a situation where, fine, we'll do it if you really advocate for it. But at the end of the day, these guys are the people who decide the money. They decide if you get paid or not. They decide if a village continued existence is relevant to their nation. If they don't pay you, at some point, it doesn't matter how strong you are. You're going to starve to death. You're not going to have money. You're not going to feed your kids. You're not going to be able to train the next generation. Everyone's just going to be a mercenary for hire at that point. Which is why you don't really touch the money between these great nations.
Right.
And there's examples where, for example, Orochimaru overtook a nation, Nagato overtook a nation, but those are nations that are a lot smaller in the grand scheme of things. These are great nations. This is like the United States. It's like China, Russia. You're not getting that much leeway between these daimyos. So in my mind, if I'm paying you for a job and you're not doing that job, why should I keep paying you? If you're telling me the world's gonna end, why should I spend my money to save the world? Where are the other countries? So it becomes a situation to where you have to play the political game. That's what a Hokage is for. Naruto was able to play it relatively well because he had such a good relationship with the daimyo. Shikamaru doesn't have that. His situation is frosty as hell.
You would think Shikamaru as a player of chess and not checkers, he would have built a relationship with the daimyo.
It just goes to show the amount of charisma Naruto had. But you also got to remember, the daimyo adored Naruto. So it doesn't matter who's the Hokage after Naruto. It could be Shikamaru, it could be Kakashi, it could be Kawaki. They're not doing the one thing the daimyo wants. He wants revenge for Naruto. They didn't get that. So what use are they if they can't kill Boruto?
Yeah, but I mean, shit. If they love Naruto that much, they should kind of like try to live by how Naruto would want. What type of results Naruto would want? Do you think Naruto would really want you to kill Kawaki, even though that's it's Boruto, quote unquote? He wouldn't want that. Like, it's kind of like a difficult situation because, like, what if Naruto comes back and he finds out, like, say they found the way to kill Boruto or whatever? You think Naruto is going to be down with the daimyo? No, I don't think so.
It still becomes a thing about honor, though, because you got to remember, in their eyes, Boruto disrespected the village and he disrespected the nation. He's still a criminal. Even if you don't kill him, you still don't want him running free. You still want him to pay for your crimes. So it basically messes with the world's honor at that point. So it's all a political situation. It's a political game. I can see it to an extent. We know Boruto's a good guy. We know Boruto wants to save the world. We know everything that happened with omnipotence, with the nuance. The daimyo doesn't know. All the daimyo sees is a criminal. So, in his mind, why is he still paying the village? Especially because, they've already wanted to reduce military spending. The budget was already decreasing. it's decreasing more so in Shikamaru's time. It becomes a point to why am I spending this money? And even talk about it in chapter 36 about the relationship between the daimyo and shinobi. Shinobi are in contractual relationship with nations. While each hidden village is in theory at least a vassal of the daimyo who is its sovereign ruler, in actuality they are in a contractual relationship of equals where the village executes the daimyo's will through accepting missions. Each hidden village is its nation's largest military force. However, it is not only its military force. In actuality, ordinary soldiers armed with spears, katana, bows, and so forth carry out safer missions such as border patrol and maintaining public order. Not all daimyo possess enough funds to continuously contract with a village, so we know it takes a lot of money to fund a village. Military actions involving ninja cost an immense amount of money. Short-term subversive activities are one thing, but a lengthy war where only ninjas are employed would incur a sum huge enough to ruin a nation. That is why small states that do not contain hidden villages, such as the former Land of Waves, which is currently making great advances as an economic superpower, must hold to a policy of relying on ordinary soldiers for day-to-day armaments, and only hiring shinobi in times of need. Only ninja can counter ninja. However, during this long peace, every daimyo has started wanting to reduce their massive military spending. This is only natural, as they are in the business of collecting taxes from their citizens and then redistributing it. You gotta remember, especially in the olden days, ninjas aren't ninjas for the goodness of their heart. They're ninjas for money. This is a money business scheme. They're running a business at the end of the day.
Right.
In addition to protecting their people. Like, that's a money situation. Are you gonna protect people for free? Naruto would. But at the end of the day, Naruto still has to eat. Naruto still has to make a paycheck. So that's one of the reasons why
cheap, brother.
Yeah, exactly. That's one of the reasons why the Sand allied with Orochimaru, because they weren't gonna go out and kill their daimyo. If they do that, that's a whole war between the nation and the village. So they're gonna do indirect ways, like scaring the daimyo, like attacking the Hidden Leaf. The chain of events that led to Operation Demolish Konoha, where the Hidden Sand Village felt forced into demonstrating the threat of Konoha in reaction to the Land of Wind's disarmament, is still a fresh memory. That's right. Daimyo do not consider the perpetual existence of shinobi to be necessary. You gotta prove your worth. It doesn't matter if you saved my life 3-4 years ago. It doesn't matter if Naruto saved the world only a couple years ago. What have you done for me lately? What can you do to justify your paycheck now? Not what you did 10 years ago.
Insane.
Not what you did in your heyday. You gotta continuously justify that you're earning your paycheck. If you don't like it,
save the world, or
exactly. And even then, it's not necessary, because saving the world isn't your main job.
Right. No,
it's defending your country. It's defending your country's interests. And then
I mean, but isn't that kind of what Boruto's doing at this point in time?
Well, they still don't see the threat of the world. Boruto's trying to save the world. The daimyo doesn't see that yet. The daimyo doesn't care. The daimyo just wants Boruto dead.
Well, not even just the world, Konoha at that point.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter, because look at Sasuke. Sasuke saved the world, and they still wanted him dead regardless. It was only Kakashi and Naruto stepping in that they begrudgingly pardoned him, and even then he's still considered a rogue ninja. Even then he's still on probation. So they don't care. They care about honor more than the world to an extent, unfortunately.
That's crazy.
And then, it was Kage and then Momoshiki. They were sufficient to remind the daimyo of the importance of shinobi. The current Land of Fire daimyo, Ikkyo, holds Naruto in high esteem and supports him in all possible ways, but his own political power is not rock solid either. Members of the Council of Elders who wish to remove the too heroic Uzumaki Naruto appear to be seeking to oust Ikkyo along with Naruto. So what did Kawaki do when he saved Naruto? He gave the wannabe Danzos and everyone who was out for themselves a golden opportunity to manipulate daimyo. The golden boy is gone. Ikkyo is pissed off right now. He has a one-track mind. He needs revenge for Naruto. Now he's gonna get manipulated. Now everyone who didn't like Naruto having that sway against the daimyo can now close his wallet and now say, we don't need to spend money on this village if they're not doing what you want. We can just take that money for ourselves. So it becomes a situation to where, unfortunately, you gotta listen to what the daimyo says, because you need money. That's as simple as that, unfortunately.
I mean, that's obvious. You need money in real life too.
And, it's funny because I hear a few people that say, why don't we just kill the daimyo? And,
Yeah.
that can work on the right hand man, like temporarily. You can buy yourself a few days if you kill Kobu, but if you kill the daimyo, all you're doing is causing a massive amount of tension between the nation. There's other villages in the nation. There's other soldiers in the nation. You're just causing anarchy. You're not gonna get that money. You're not gonna get trade routes. So it's just gonna you're gonna cause a civil war between the village and the nation. So that doesn't really work either, especially when you're a great nation, especially when you need millions of people to sustain just 10,000 ninjas. Because I think they said that to sustain a ninja village, you need 1,000,000 people for just 10,000 ninja. So it becomes a situation where you got to interact with the daimyo. It's inevitable. The only reason why we didn't get to really see a lot of the political stuff in Naruto is because Hiruzen had such a good handle on the political aspects. Tsunade did too. Kakashi did too. Naruto did too. So you're not really going into the political aspects. Unfortunately for Shikamaru, he became Hokage at a time where there's too much tension in the shinobi world. Not to mention, he didn't even officially accept the Hokage title, so that looks bad on the village too.
Do you think what Koji did sped up, or as far as like what Koji trying to kill him and Boruto saving him, like at this point, do you think it sped up Shikamaru's what do you call it? With Shikamaru's I'm trying to think of the right word for it.
Downfall,
Not downfall, but like his
ousting, his ousting from being Hokage.
Yeah, but I was trying to what do you call it when a president gets taken out of his role?
Impeached.
I was trying to think of that word. Yeah, impeached. There you go. That's what I was trying to think of.
I
So Shikamaru was impeached. Like, do you think it sped it up or you think it slowed it down?
I think it might have sped it up because as of this point, if Kobu had died, right, Shikamaru handles the Mamushi situation, right?
Right.
They tell Daimyo, oh yeah, Kobu died because of this ambush with the divine trees. On one hand, it shows the Daimyo that these threats are real. On the other hand, it shows that Shikamaru let a high-ranking member of his cabinet die under his watch. So I feel like there would be some political blowback to Shikamaru, but it wouldn't happen necessarily immediately. With Kobu being alive, though, there's still a large chance that he holds Shikamaru responsible for everything. So there's a decent chance he gets ousted like immediately if Kobu says so. So right now, I would say it might speed everything up depending on how Kobu acts.
What do you think about?
That's interesting. I think it speeds it up based off of Kashin Koji's dialogue at the end. You know, his personal opinion. He thinks Kobu should die. I believe he's probably waiting for a certain event to happen. I think it's key to see whether Shikamaru is successful with this mission or not.
Yes.
Whether Kobu like continues in like an espionage type of way, or he just plays the long game, or he just directly tries to confront everything. Because like when he saw at the end, he don't know why, but there's something going on that entices Shikamaru to work with Boruto. So it's not more so, it seems at least, at the very least to me, he's not more so sprung on, oh, let's capture and kill Boruto, as opposed to why are you working with Boruto? So
he just wants the truth right now.
yeah,
and
so
like you said,
it's gonna be interesting to see how he goes forward.
yes.
I just think it just depends on how the mission ends. If Shikamaru's successful,
Yes, because if there's no casualties, he still has the stigma of working with Boruto. But Kobu would have to admit that, yeah, okay, you did do your job. It becomes a whole nother story if someone like Ada dies, or even Himawari dies. Even though she's not going to die. That's on Shikamaru. Like, every death is on Shikamaru at this point.
Yeah, but we got to see how we get the deaths there, though.
Yes.
I know a lot of people. I know the popular thing is Ada's death, and I'm not sure how y'all started with the topic for this pod episode, but like overall, the premise in general, it sets up the idea that it's very, very feasible this upcoming chapter. I can't say this upcoming chapter, but at the very least, by the end of this arc, it's going to be very, very feasible. Or at the least, because I'm just trying to look at the history Ikimoto goes through. a death or a major surprise that we just probably don't see coming. I see a lot of setup, so uh, it's I don't know, bro. It's just got to
Hell,
see
it might not
how they
even be
deal
a
with
death.
emotion.
It could be a ton of things. It could be as simple as Mamushi saying that, yeah, we know Naruto was alive, and the wrong person hearing it. That could also be a big consequence.
Well, yeah, he did say something, just something that like flips the plot around. It doesn't even have to be a death. He kind
Yeah.
of mentioned that he was like, it has to be like it would be a death or something that just throws us for a loop.
So it
Yeah,
could be a ton of things. Like, the whole Damon fight with Mamushi, that's a moot point because we're gonna find out. We're gonna see where things stand in a couple weeks. It's the consequences of the arc. It's if Ada gets clapped, or if something happens, that's the consequence. The political consequence is what I'm more worried about because we know that they need the daimyo. It's just
yeah,
how do they deal with that? How do they deal with Shikamaru? Especially like what Free Game said. If Kobu figures out that he was being controlled by a Yamanaka, he's gonna want the person who put his life in danger to, get their consequences. That brings back Ino, who, Ino is afraid for her son. Sai is afraid for her son. Uh, are they gonna scapegoat Shikamaru, or are they gonna scapegoat themselves to potentially get Inojin out of the situation? I feel like a lot of these consequences depend on Kobu, and they ripple back to Boruto's decision of saving Kobu. It could either help him or come back to bite him in the ass, just like how Koji kind of alluded to that he needs to die. Like it would be better. So I feel like most of the pitfalls will be on the political side of things.
I ain't gonna lie, I spent a little bit of time thinking about that whole Enojin angle, and I think he might have a little bit more free space than we're giving him credit for. Because I'm trying to remember if it's really established in the lore, right? Because we know, and especially because of seeing how Enojin was controlling his body last chapter, we know like when you do the mind transfer thing, and I think the earliest or the most recent iteration we had of an explanation was when the second Chunin exam when Eunogen lost to the Kakashi lookalike, I think, or
Mm,
something like that. But it's like essentially when you do the jutsu, the two minds or consciousness face each other inside the mind, but the superior one has the strength or chakra to like essentially suppress it,
suppress, yes.
control your mind. But a talented ninja is obviously able to notice and look and see what's going on. But someone like a citizen, they might just be completely like
Yeah,
TKO the entire time. So
I
I
agree with you
was
100%.
I'm
100%.
just thinking, yeah. So I'm like, I don't know if Lord Kobu even knows or recognizes what happens to him. But even more importantly, I think he's not even worried about that, more so as to what he woke up to seeing what's happening. So more so the immediate action. I think it could be a little bit, how did I even get there? But I think it's more so like, well, yeah, I was attacked by like surplus amount of enemies.
I
Boruto
see it.
showed up and I see all of this crazy
I
shit
see it
happen.
more so. I see it more so that Kobu knows about the main clans of the village. He knows how their techniques work. He went from the interrogation office to the roof. There's no doubt about that. In his
Yeah.
mind, how did he appear here? He blacked out. In his mind, you know, what could do that? If he starts thinking about it and, connecting the dots, the only logical solution is the Yamanaka clan. He knows the Yamanaka clan has the relationship with the Nara clan. He might not know it's Enojin specifically, but he might start thinking that, it might be a Yamanaka clan member who did it.
Yeah,
If you go,
I think you're giving him too much credit because even looking at someone like the daimyo when he's talking like remember when him and Tento visited the village? It's like
yes,
yeah, he knows Naruto and you probably most likely yeah he's familiar with like Shikamaru and Sai because those are the people and the faces he see. But like for the most part, he referred to like oh those ninja cards. I don't really like. I don't think they're too keen on the ninja life. Like you said earlier, it's like more so the politics, more so taxes. So I don't think they worry about like oh which clan are sacred to which clan and the history behind. I think that's more so like the higher ups within the ninja village as opposed to like the daimyo or people like Kobu understanding or establishing the hierarchy like pertaining to like outside, where it's like we got the elders, we got the Hokage advisors, and maybe like the Anbu elites. Like he knows about that shit, and like anything lower than that, the basic premise of joning, tuning, and stuff like that. But as far as like Nara clans, he would probably know them. Not probably, more than likely, yeah, knows the Nara because of prominent ninjas and the fact like, okay, that's one of the 4 royal families. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think he's like, oh, I know for a fact it was a Yamanaka that did
Signature
this.
jutsu is the mind transfer jutsu as
See,
well.
maybe
Like
I'm
maybe
just
you're right though too though. Like he's since he's like since he's like a citizen pretty much like
Yeah.
he like
That's really my thing. It's like
that.
the knowledge is
Yeah.
probably public, but it's like, yeah, he's just that's not really
Right.
his.
He probably just felt like he just woke up there, walked over there or some
Yeah,
shit.
you're like, yeah,
see,
bro.
maybe I'm just glazing Kobu's analytical skills. I just feels like as the right hand man of the daimyo, as the guy who's been given the opportunity to do this interrogation,
Mhm.
I feel like he would have done his homework, especially because the whole sensor system and the whole mind transmission jutsu is a Yamanaka clan trait, to where he's already been exposed to it. He already knows a decent amount of everything that's going on. He knows about Mitsuki being the son of Orochimaru, something that the village as a whole doesn't really know. So
Mhm.
he is privy to high class things. Like Konohamaru didn't even find out until there was no choice. So he has that info. It's like Naruto had to have given that info to the higher ups at some point, because he knows that he's the son of Orochimaru. He knows about the ceiling cuffs. He had the report about them not being them not malfunctioning. He was able to break apart Konohamaru's lie. Maybe I'm giving Konohamaru too much credit because he's a bad liar. I just feel like he might start putting the pieces together. And it could just be me glazing Kobu. I just feel like Kobu has to be competent at his job to give us that chaos.
Nah, I think it's
And
it's
he's,
50 it's 50-50.
yeah,
Like
I agree.
he's shown that he's analytical. That's like from what we've been seeing. So you're not wrong to think like that. But also I think we got to give credit to ninjas above civilians within the story. Cause like it's a reason they train to be, like ninjas. So to your point with like Konohamaru, like, yeah, he's just a bad like even Kobu admits he's like, bro, that was way too easy. Like he's obviously being used. He's thinking to himself, like, there's no way this nigga knows what's going on. And he was right. He did not know what was going on. So I think it's more so a little bit the right pieces falling into Kobu's lap and he's there. It's like one of those things like, damn, I know the name, but I just can't, it's not coming to me right now. So he's there, but the lack of skill or useful utilities that he could utilize, like being able to manipulate his chakra enough to the point where he could recognize, oh, not only is it Yamanaka jutsu, but I saw you, Inojin. You were the one who took over my mind. So I think he's just lacking smaller details, and he's using like the outside things that he has to his power in order to get down to the bottom of the barrel. It's like with Orochimaru, like how Obito was surprised, like, damn, he didn't even have a Sharingan, but he was able to decipher this much of the Uchiha stone tablet. So it's like he's using the best of his arsenal right now.
I agree. And I just wonder what will be Kobu's thought process when he does get that moment to relax and review everything, because it did seem like he was frazzled and rushed.
Yeah.
So I do want to see his thought process, because he's gonna have to like question why he was on the roof and why he blacked out, because the prime suspects are Shikamaru and Sai. What is Sai's current last name right now? Sai Yamanaka. And you have that whole situation with the Nara. So I feel like there is, like you said, 50-50. There might be a 50-50 shot where he might come to a conclusion where some Yamanaka shenanigans were used.
Yeah, I'd be like, bro, it's your diabetes. But do you guys think that it's going to be a rewrite? The reason why I asked this question is because
Rewrite.
Rewrite as far as like Kashin Koji's future
Oh,
sight. How his memories get, I mean not his memories, the future get changed whenever an anomaly happens, something that wasn't expected. Like I would assume that everything that he does is calculated. He just wouldn't, he saw himself in the future, or he saw Kobu dying in the future, and he knew that was like the right future to go off of.
Well, the
And Boruto kind of stopped that from happening.
Well, we do know that he doesn't fully know what's gonna happen after he makes the changes.
That's true.
He's operating on his own brand of logic. In his mind, killing Kobo is the more logical choice, but he won't know if that pans out until he gets an update.
Mm.
So it's basically him choosing to trust his own actions rather than Boruto's, because he did explain to Inojin that I can only tell Shikamaru and Boruto what's gonna happen, and he has to trust that they'll make the right decisions. So right now he's operating blind. Keeping Kobu alive could be something good, but it could also be something bad. In his mind right now, he thinks it'll be something bad. It'll be something that they should have gotten handled a while ago. So you're basically going on a 50-50 shot of who's right. Was keeping Kobu alive the right decision because Boruto doesn't want to sacrifice people, or was Koji right and they should have sacrificed him for the greater good?
Yeah, I think he's right in that standpoint, like what you said, but I believe the reset moment would happen in like so essentially Koji is operating off of two beliefs, right? Because he's seen infinite futures. Most futures where Kobu dies, things end up right. Most futures where he lives, things end up bad. So he's betting on, okay, if Boruto ends up does saving him, let's hope that it's one of the
Yes,
good futures
exactly.
where he's alive in, right? But at the end of the day, I think because of this, it's going to lead to another anomaly choice that
Yes,
occurs. So that might be the thing that automatically derails every equation that Kasha Koji has solved up to this point. So we're like,
exactly.
it's like a
Yeah,
whole new thing.
and he could definitely get another update within these next couple of chapters, and be able to further tweak the timeline. But right now he's just operating blind because he already made changes to where everything he saw is kind of useless because he's making all these changes. And he specifically tells Inojin in chapter 28, uh Koji says, "I never know if my choice was correct or not until I see the outcome. I
Yeah.
relayed what I thought was vital. I can only entrust Shikamaru and Boruto to decide how to battle the enemy before us. So you know what fate has in store for you, but you gotta rely on unreliable chess pieces.
Yeah.
Boruto, Shikamaru, even Inojin, they're human. They're not robots. They'll do what their emotions tell them to do, and that's part of the reason why he doesn't tell everyone about the future. Because no matter how much you try to follow the future, your emotions will make you do something different if you know this person is gonna die. So, he told Inojin, we should probably make a future where Ada and Himari don't die. But Inojin, Boruto, they're not willing to make that sacrifice. They're willing to have their cake and eat it, like saving Kobu. So they're not necessarily going to follow Koji's way of thinking, which in turn makes more changes. So it's like you said, he just has to see if Boruto saving Kobu gave them a good timeline. We'll just have to wait for that update because right now, to an extent, Koji is flying blind.
Yeah. I think it's like it's very subtle what Ikimoto's doing, but he's showing us to the extremist level of how infinite Koji's ability works and the possibilities that uh that relate in the outcome. Because even when you were mentioning something, it's like, well, say Koji sees a good future, right? And within that good future, Boruto has to meet Sarada, and then boom, after Boruto meets Sarada, that good thing happens. But in all the other futures, Boruto doesn't meet Sarada, bad things happen. So now say Koji takes the initiative to ensure, hey, Boruto do this, that, and the third. So he makes sure Boruto meets Sarada. But because Koji did that, Boruto meets Sarada. However, now it still leads to a bad future. So now
Exactly.
everything Koji saw was like, wait, but in all the futures I saw him meet Sarada, it led to the good future. But now it's leading to the bad. So it's like it's the real play on the word infinite. Like it's
Exactly.
endless. You're probably looking at a big part, but it's probably a portion of an
And
endless
it's basically
equation.
it's basically the butterfly effect. Any
Yeah.
minor change can have a bigger impact. And Dragon Ball has done this before with the
Yeah,
Trunks
the
saga.
butterfly effect.
But even if you go back to when Koji and Boruto met, he told Boruto that there are futures where they stop the divine tree from manifesting beforehand. It's just
Yeah.
there was a really low chance. That was
Yeah.
their first initiative. They tried it. Boruto got there late, So they failed. But that could have happened. They just couldn't do it. Like no matter how much planning they did, Kawaki stalled Code from escaping, and the divine trees manifested.
Yeah. So it's like, it's like to the extremist level, to the extremist degree, he's showing the butterfly effect. So as far as it makes sense because a lot of people question, like, well, if Koji sees this, shouldn't he? Why is Koji surprised by certain things? It's like Koji is surprised because he has seen everything and shit's still not going his way.
Exactly.
That's why he's surprised.
Exactly. Because he told, like, for example,
He's seen the future.
Exactly, because for example, he told them to keep the Mamushi clones between 20 and 30.
Yeah.
They couldn't do it. Like, just because he saw it doesn't mean they could do it. That's the problem. So,
well, I mean, it's because doesn't he see more than one timeline? It's not like just one timeline he's looking at. Like he's seeing
multiple timelines. And then what he does is he asks Ada for click-by-click moments to see what timeline they're on and further maneuver. The problem is if you change the timeline, exactly. But if you change the timeline too much,
you change the outcome.
Yes, and his info kind of becomes useless. Like for example, when Boruto was talking to Kawaki, Koji already had a prescient scene, so he was never gonna know what Boruto was doing in the background with Kawaki until he got a new update. That's when he found out that Boruto talked to Kawaki. That's when he found out Kawaki got his limiters removed, and it was a gamble. And he said he said to Ada that he couldn't even destroy good futures. So right now he's kind of operating blind. He knows that he needs Shikamaru to stay Hokage, and in his mind, he wants to kill Kobu, even though he never necessarily saw Kobu died. It's just him making the decision, the most logical decision, to help that timeline out and to help get us to a good timeline. Yeah. So right now we'll have to wait and see if his gamble paid off by getting another prescience update.
Well, I feel like what you're scrolling through right now, I don't remember reading.
Yeah, this is where he was talking about prescience and him saying it would be ideal to dispose of Ten Tails' roots and branch before that, but the likelihood we'd succeed is low. In nearly all the futures I see that there are divine tree people. Nearly. That means he saw a few. He saw a small amount of futures. He also
said that he was going to help him retrieve Sasuke from the tree.
Yes.
I didn't see.
Well, he said that future is a thin rope to walk on.
Yeah.
He said he saw it, but like,
like for example, he beats Hidari, he frees Sasuke, but in the end all be all, he still loses to Jura. So Koji saw how to release Sasuke, but that's still a bad future because at the end of the day, they all still died.
Go up.
Where
does he say that
at? Hang on, let's see.
I gotta start reading chapters just one time and thinking.
Here it is. I'll also tell you how to rescue Sasuke Uchiha from his tree. But first, I need you to understand the very worst future that's possible right now. The very worst future. Ten Tails will break free of Code's control and evolve in a new way. They will likely show up before us as multiple divine tree people who possess individual minds. It would be ideal to dispose of Ten Tails' root and branch before that, but the likelihood we'd succeed is low. In nearly all the futures I see, there are divine tree people, and the most dangerous among them is their leader Jura. Boruto is going to kill you. It's not an absolute thing, but many futures show it happening, and what follows is pretty similar. Kawaki gets devoured and our planet dies. So
where does he say him saving Sasuke leads to a worse future? I don't see that.
It didn't lead to the worst future. It's just he would have had to see Sasuke get freed.
If you go by the end of the conversation, he's alluding to basically the timeline they're on right now is extremely tightrope.
Yeah.
And that if you want to make this decision, it's gonna be like you have to. Basically, he used it as a way to gaslight Boruto into saying, "Well, you can save Sasuke and defeat Jura, but you have to listen to me."
Yeah. So there's a future where he did save Sasuke, but things didn't turn out how you'd want them to. That's why Boruto freaked out when he fought the divine trees. That's why he didn't listen to Koji, because he wanted to save Sasuke. There's a reason why Boruto hasn't put that headband back on. The initial plan was to destroy Ten Tails before it evolved. That failed. there was a small chance they could do it, but fate was against them at that moment. Even though they planned it, they still failed. And Koji told him there was a high likelihood that they would fail. So we have the situation to where Boruto's seeing the divine trees, he sees Hidari, and he panics because he wants to save Sasuke. What are you doing, Boruto? Our surprise attack failed. You need to leave now. Like the plan was get rid of Ten Tails. If that failed, you gotta dip. Like, quick. He didn't do that because he still wanted to save Sasuke. Because he knew if he killed Hidari right then and there, he would save Sasuke. He failed. He freaked Koji out and told him, get out of there. Enough, Boruto. You need to get out of here. Remember, if you die, it'll all be for naught. So he teleports, takes off the headband. We never see the headband. I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, but we never see him putting the headband back on. Then Koji scolds him. Are you trying to...
I think you're right.
Yeah, and then if Koji scolds him and says, are you trying to destroy this planet? Don't ever be that rash again. Sorry, I panicked. I'm not trying to console you, but you know there was a high chance of this happening, and it doesn't really change anything. We still must fight. And then he tells Sasuke, sorry, you'll have to wait a bit longer. So it was a situation to where it was possible he could have saved Sasuke. He could have destroyed Ten Tails before it evolved. It's just the chance of it was really low to where Koji said, don't count on it. There are some futures that are just so low that the odds are stacked against you, unfortunately.
So him saving Sasuke possibly would have been the best possible future then. If that was the lowest possibility of him having to complete his goal.
Nigga, Sasuke the type, he like, all right, you stronger than me, but I'm finna get this job done, Chidori. You feel me? He ain't got time to wait for like Sasuke the only nigga, bro, verbatim, Momoshiki ate like 4 pills and then he ate Kinshiki. Everybody watching this nigga Momoshiki power up. Nigga, Sasuke dashed through the smoke and went for a chop at his neck. He said, why are we letting him power up? He was the only one to attack. Like, Sasuke ain't trying to waste time, bro. He's like, yeah, let's find a solution and take that.
Bro, he used to watch Dragon Ball Z and be pissed. Why are they waiting for this dude
Why
to power
literally?
up?
He's like, okay, so they're gonna wait for dude to power up? Nah, Sasuke don't wait for shit, bro. He's like, nah, bro.
You die now.
You die literally. He said, you're stronger than me, sure, but hey, this second right here, like, imagine he would have cut off Jigen's head. The story would have been told. Like, Sasuke cut that nigga head off clean, smooth.
You think that's the difference between Sasuke and Boruto, though? Sasuke goes in for the kill automatically. Boruto kind of hesitates.
Well, Boruto has been going in for the kill in TBV. He's been going for the kill shots. Like, he's not trying to extend fights at all.
Yeah, it's just humans. He's not gonna target humans, but the divine trees are.
If it was Sasuke, Kobu would have been dead a long time ago.
100%. Kawaki, same thing. A lot of ninjas would have said, you know what, screw him. He can die.
This nigga, Sasuke would have did a Chidori stream on a line of Mamushi right past Kobu as he was burning.
Sasuke himself even says, I'm not as soft as Naruto.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, if Koji was working with Sasuke, this whole thing would have ended a long time ago.
And I feel like that's why Boruto's kind of the perfect shinobi, because he embodies the best aspects of Sasuke and Naruto.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Kawaki kind of embodies the worst aspects of Sasuke and Naruto and goes into the opposite extreme. And we see that with Inojin because, Inojin has lived under both Kakashi and Naruto's rule as Hokage. So he has all the new Jin all have Naruto's will of fire. They're not willing to sacrifice someone unnecessarily before themselves. Unlike Kawaki and the old way of doing things is where if you're a danger to the village, I'm gonna kill you regardless. So you're basically you're pitting against the old way of doing things against Naruto's way of doing things. Can you keep your humanity? Can you save these people while enduring as a shinobi? Or will you fall into temptation and go back to the old ways of doing things, which Naruto worked really hard to make it so you don't have to go back to those ways?
Yeah. I think Boruto, he does a well job of approaching the balance well because obviously he's in this ideal dynamic argument with Kosh and Koji of how they should approach the missions with the future details, sacrifices or not sacrificing. But in all of Boruto's fights, right, we see it. The only exception comes to when he's battling the random no-name shinobi Kawaki, and Mitsuki. But all the other fights we see in Code because he was trying to get information, but all those other fights we see when he's starting off the fight, he's going for critical damage. That's Sasuke right there. That's
Yeah,
the Sasuke's
100%.
teaching. First hit critical damage, like off rip. Like he's going with Mamushi. The only reason he's alive is because there's another one of them. Like he's going for headshots, slicing his neck off. With Hidari, he not too many people can survive a Rasengan that blows your whole shoulder, like 75% of your upper body. Like this is critical damage Boruto is inflicting on enemies. First contact, and he's like, yeah, bro. So that's definitely like the closest Naruto has ever embodied this is when he pulled up and he destroyed one of the pains off rip. Like that was the closest. And even with like Ray, because Naruto, like people forget it. Naruto, like all this like his PR team is doing laps around everybody's head.
It's
We
PR
forgot
team.
Crash Out Naruto was a real like YN Naruto was a real thing. His first words was, "I'm gonna kill you and I'll become Hokage." Like he wasn't
Exactly.
afraid to shed blood.
And you know, Naruto isn't Superman. He's not Batman. He will kill if needed.
He literally,
He'll just use that as a last resort. Like if you're an Otsutsuki, you're not getting the talk no jutsu. You're getting killed.
yeah. So like Naruto, he was like, man, he had to grow into the whole. All right, there has to be a better way. And then he had the strength to back it up for the most part. He's like, I could low key like beat your ass, but there has to be a better way, you know? So he's truly embodied that nature. But Sasuke, even when he turned Leaf, it was like, I'm not gonna torture you, I would just make it quick. Well, I guess it's always been quick, but I would do it with less hate and spite. How about that? I'm gonna cut your head and arm off with the will of fire that Naruto embedded into me, you know, pause. But it's real. It's something like that.
Chop your head off with the will of fire.
But you know, I do think we will have a lot of consequences in this Mamushi fight. Whether Mamushi lives, whether he dies, I think it's irrelevant. I think we will have to walk off with a consequence. It feels like damned if you do, damned if you don't. Someone's gonna suffer, and whether that's Shikamaru, whether that's Boruto, we're gonna get something crazy. Especially if you know Mamushi. If Mamushi does die, then you have to introduce Code, because the only one who can get Bug back is Code. Or you have a Mamushi retrieval mission, because they can't realistically get rid of that Thorn Soul unless Kawaki decides to seal that Thorn Soul in Daikokuten. I don't know if that's a good idea, putting the Thorn Soul in Daikokuten, especially because we don't fully understand how the Thorn Soul works, and we don't even know if they still have a connection between the Thorn Soul and Jura, which would be funny if that Renegon eye thing from the Thorn Soul is still connected to Jura, and he's just seeing Naruto sleep for the foreseeable future.
I do think. Well, let me say, I don't think Mamushi's Thorn Soul will be returned to Bug, but I'm not sure what is going to happen to it. But they're going to use his Thorn Soul as an example. He's going to be the example for something.
I swear, if Code eats the Thorn Soul, he gets a power up. I'm gonna be.
Well, Cole, yeah,
no, that would be fire though.
Cole's probably gonna twist up the story. I think, if not this one, the next story where Jura and Hidari are prominent. If they're really gonna focus, I think they might. But if they're really gonna spend like a chapter or two to focus on the politics, I think Cole might operate in the shadows and become active like in the next big arc, as opposed to like the next immediate arc. But it's like it's still.
Holding
Like
them
you
there
said,
for
it doesn't really matter. We just got to get through the Mamushi fight at the end of the day. So,
because like we know what the consequences could be. We just don't know how they happen for a 1-to-1, because we still need to see the outcome of the Mamushi fight. If Damon does beat Mamushi, and you know, okay, we beat another Divine Trees, it's not a celebration. There's still heavy consequences from that fight. And then the same is true for the flip side. It just depends on which poison Ikamoto will feed us. That's why I think discussing the fight in general with Mamushi and Damon, how it's going to turn out, is a moot point and irrelevant, because we're going to find out anyway. Yeah. What we can have fun discussing is what we deal with the after effects. The after effects are something that's really interesting, because we know at some point one of these people are going to be dealt with, whether it be Damon or Mamushi. We don't care. At least I don't care. I just want to see how it happens.
Do you think the climax of this chapter is Daemon versus Mamushi though?
I think so because chapter 32 ends off the volume, so it has to end off on a cliffhanger. So having a Mamushi Damon face off does work as a cliffhanger, especially if Mamushi just does something sneaky or.
Do you think that?
random.
Don't you think that's maybe a little bit too obvious of
Yeah.
a
I do.
conclusion?
He
I
might.
do.
I don't know. It's like Hikimoto, because the two longest fights we got so far in TBV is Boruto versus Jura, and then I think it's a tie between.
Ryu.
Well, maybe not a tie, but I think it's a tie
Sarada.
between Sarada versus Ryu or Boruto versus Mitsuki.
But even like with the Ryu fight though, like he threw us for a loop. Did we at the beginning when the Ryu fight started? Did we see Sarada being the one to end Ryu?
No,
I didn't. I didn't.
That's what I'm saying.
If you told me like predict who's going to kill her, I would have never said Sarada.
Nah, that's what I'm saying. So like, as far as like those fights, like at the start of the mission, I didn't predict it. I looking back, I see the signs, and I wish I would have, but I didn't predict it. But like as far as the fights itself, because that fight took, I think the whole like half of the chapter, a majority of the chapter, and then Boruto Mitsuki took like half a chapter. Like the significance of Daemon the versus Mamushi is the main thing I'm trying to get at, because it's like if Ikimoto approaches it like a Boruto versus Jura, where he gives them like a full chapter and then half of a next chapter to focus on the fight, then it's gonna have heavy repercussions. But if it's like a fight that's a lengthy fight, but it still is in its entirety in just one chapter, that's going to be like an interesting choice that Ikimoto takes. So if he starts the fight,
how he like lengthens the fight out too, though. Like, because with everybody else, Damon's been one shotting them pretty much. To see a Mamushi fight last more than one chapter would be kind of.
Yeah. I think you do have wiggle room because there are 200 plus Mamushis. So
yeah, true.
If he does kill 100 Mamushis, they're still gonna keep coming. It's like he has an infinite energy source. We gotta remember the plan was to get them all in one point, destroy their eyes to keep them from replicating, and then just deal with them all. So if Damon's having fun and Mamushi's just gonna repeatedly replicate, we're gonna be in a cycle to where there's gonna be enough time for another chapter. And I feel like Ikamoto has been for the most part, he's been consistent with cliffhangers. So for example,
do you think he'll do that though? You think that would be like a Naruto shadow clone fight though? Like no, seriously, like this is a multi shadow clone jutsu type fight.
I mean, that is fair, but we already have 200 Mamushi clones, give or take, right now. So even if he doesn't clone himself,
he separates, the stupider he gets though. Once he gets to his target or whatever you want to call Ada, do you see
he'll have a one-track mind on Ada, exactly.
Yeah.
But I feel like because Ikamoto has been consistent with these cliffhangers, like even the Mangekyou Sharingan was a cliffhanger for the next volume. I feel like he has to give us something to ponder over. So I feel like it'll either be a Daemon standoff or something unique will happen. I don't think the battle will end. I feel like it can't end. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I feel like it can't end in the next chapter. I feel like
I don't. Early. No, it's not.
We need one more. We need one more chapter, one or two more chapters after this, because it's a cliffhanger chapter in my mind. It's something to get us excited about, but it's not the end all be all. It'll just give us a rough estimate to where the fight will lead into. That's my opinion.
Shit, or if he does just pack out Mamushi, maybe that would encourage Jura to like, hey, the leaf is too dangerous, bro.
Plus,
like,
we also gotta remember that if Daemon destroys a good chunk of Mamushi's clones, he will get, like you said, he'll get smarter again.
He'll get smarter, yeah.
So he'll start thinking logically. We know he has a bit of a counter on Ada's Senragon to where he can see through her eyes when she's activating the Senragon. Who's to say he doesn't have another ability? Because we got to remember, Bug was the OG encyclopedia for these cyborgs.
Yeah.
He knew what Ada's ability did. He knew what Damon's ability did. He's the one who gave the lore drop to Code. Yeah. So it wouldn't be far-fetched to see Mamushi having tricks for the sibling cyborg.
It's crazy that he actually regains his memories though. If he does, if he if he remembers their abilities and stuff like that, and that's the way he's able to create counters. It's crazy that he's one of the only ones that. Well, I mean, because we got to see from what's his name, not where like Ryu. It didn't seem like he remembered anything besides how to use his jutsu. What's Sasuke's cool name again? I always forget his name because yeah, he's useless. Hidari doesn't. He seems like he has like some like inkling about.
He didn't even know who Sasuke was. He was
He
like,
didn't
"Who the
even know what
fuck
the
is
Chidori
that?"
was called or the Sharingan. Like Jiraiya had to tell him what the Sharingan was.
Yeah,
He was
so
like,
like
"Who
they don't
the
have
fuck
any
is
other memories. So
Sasuke?"
like for him
The
to
only
have,
one is Matsuri. Matsuri had her memories.
Yeah, like
Not necessarily memories, but she
yeah,
knew
to an
who
extent, she knew
Matsui's
who they were.
Mori
She
was.
knew Team 10, she knew
mm, mm,
Konohamaru. Jiraiya seems to know more because he knew what the Senrigan was. But it felt like to an extent Mamushi was basically in the know because he was antagonizing Ada. He knew about Ada. He decided then and there as she was spying on him that Ada's gonna be her his target.
right,
So it makes me feel like Mamushi, at the very least, no clone Mamushi, is a pretty smart individual compared to someone like Ryu or Hidari.
yeah,
So it wouldn't be too far fetched to have him have a counter attack or a counter ability against Damon, especially because at the very least, we know there's a timeline to where Ada does die. So that doesn't necessarily negate Damon. Damon could still be stronger than Mamushi. He most likely is. It just means Mamushi managed to outsmart Damon to get to Ada. So we do know it's possible to an extent. We do know that Mamushi's goal is possible, especially without when there's no help from Koji, because we've seen the tree. We've seen somehow Himawari also dying in the crossfire, where whether it's her getting in the way or trying to protect Ada or trying to protect someone, she did die. Ada did get treed, and Mamushi did accomplish his goal. So we know it's possible to an extent.
yeah. I mean, I just don't know how I feel about this chapter, and then I love because you did say this is the end of the volume, right? What volume are we on now?
This
I
is
think
volume
eight.
8.
Yeah, 8.
It'll be the
Volume
last
8.
chapter of volume 8.
Do you see the end of the volume ending with a cliffhanger with Mamushi versus Damon, or you think we get that next chapter though?
I think we do because the next let's see, let me go back to chapter 31.
Well, for a fact, we're gonna see at least the start
Yeah.
of the fight. I think it's leading. Yukimoto's trying to lead us to believe that's gonna be like the main cliffhanger, but I think the cliffhanger is gonna be big. It might not even be with Damon versus Mamushi. It might be something else. It might be Code popping up on a battlefield, or it might be a whole nother thing that happens with Shikamaru or Lord Kobu or something like that. But
100%.
I do believe we start the fight and it carries over into chapter 33.
I agree 100%. And like you said, it might not be the cliffhanger. I just think we will see the beginning of the Damon Mamushi fight because they're just about to lead them to Ada. There's no reason for Mamushi to not want to go. If they tell him we'll take you to Ada, he's going to Ada. So that's not that shouldn't take 40 pages.
Yeah.
So I think we will get them closing in onto the safe house. Where that's the cliffhanger, it doesn't have to be like Uchiha said. It could be a variety of things. I just think we will get the Daemon Mamushi face off in this chapter. You know, Mitsuki's there somewhere for all the Mitsuki fans out there. Maybe he'll do something.
You speak like a Naruto character, like Uchiha. You call him by the last name Uchiha Black. Yo, how y'all feel about this cliffhanger right here? He low key. He said the cliffhanger would be Code finding Koji.
That could also be a thing. I mean, that was Koji's main mission, and that was Code's main mission: find the guy who's helping Boruto. Matsuri got close. There's a good chance Code could get close, and if Code gets in there, he might derail everything. Plus, we've seen prescience already active, and we see Inojin struggling for some reason. So there's a decent possibility that could be it. Code's been gone for like what 2 years, our time. I don't remember
Yeah,
specifically.
it's been a while.
So we might there's a good chance we might get a crumb of Code. It's possible.
Yeah, like I said, it's possible the cliffhanger could be something to do with Cole showing up or popping up on the battlefield, possibly popping up on Koji and Inojin at the hideout. I
Possibly
think
lose another arm because he only has one arm now, bro.
one hand, yeah, he could also possibly, or he could lose the opposite side leg.
Hell,
He's just losing limbs. I ain't never seen a character except Sasuke lose so many fucking limbs, bro. Like he lost him and Sasuke both lost their fucking eye and lost their damn arm. That's crazy.
Who was still balling? You feel me? Exactly. Koji never even was able to hop off the porch, bro. His ass should have stayed inside.
But the village is distracted right now. Amado is distracted right now. Who's to say Code doesn't kidnap Amado and tell him to fix me?
That's true.
If Amado gets taken away, that puts Kawaki in a really tricky situation to where there's not a lot of people who can amp him up.
Honestly, Code can't, like, he comes back, bro. He can't do no whack shit like that. Like, he can't do nothing that's like part one Code would have done. Like, kidnap Amado didn't work. Attacking a village didn't work. Sabotaging Kawaki didn't work. Change up the game plan, my guy. Switch up, like, the whole entire style. Go back to the drawing board.
I agree, but to be fair, I mean, there's not a lot of people guarding Amado right now. There's not going to be another Damon and Ada situation.
It's not, but that'll be like, for me, like, Code, you're looking at the wrong, like, yes, your arm, you could probably heal your arm out, but nigga, focus on the picture. You feel me? Code has been spending too much time playing wishy-washy games, and if he really puts in work to finally get the drop on just Amado, I'm like, bro, that effort could have been spent on confirming that, damn, Kashin Koji is the one helping Boruto, or like, this is where their hideout's at. Boom, I placed a claw mark here. No one's expecting a thing at the very least. You know what I'm saying? Or confirm.
I feel like that could 100% happen because the only people he can combat
wasn't that good at it.
The only people he can combat is Koji right now. Like, everyone else is pretty much over his level, unfortunately. So it's either go find Koji.
Like
stronger than Koji.
Think about it though. Yeah. Code wasn't really we clown on Code, but Code wasn't really too dumb. Like, he played 3D chess at the best of his ability. Like, he was putting claw marks in places that was obvious, so they'll like waste their time trying to take away those claw marks and not even paying attention to the actual like claw mark that he put on what was it, Shikamaru or whatever. So like, he threw him. I mean, Shikamaru knew though. So I mean, but you're playing chess against Shikamaru. It's like he did the best he could. He wasn't really too dumb. He just, all his plans get foiled, and that was dumb.
It's just, unfortunately for Code,
it's just that his thing is like the look of shock on his face whenever his plans fail. It's like, so you really thought I was gonna. It's like, it's one thing to be like, damn, yeah, that was a dumb plan, but like, hey, I was a stretch of an idea to think it was gonna work. It's like, it's like such a nigga Code. Every time his plan failed, you see he's distraught because he's like, fuck, I thought that was gonna work,
See, unfortunately,
the embodiment of a YN, bro, for sure.
Like, fuck, bro.
See, unfortunately for Code, by the time he became strong, there were people that are stronger than him, i.e. Damon, and then the Divine Trees. So he basically peaked a bit too late. So right now, his only real options, like what Black Uchiha said, is go find Koji, or he could also try to kidnap Amado. I feel like those are the only real things he could do, other than hypothetically taking the defeated Mamushi's Thorn Soul.
But Koji, this dude seems like he has a one-track mind. Like, he don't think of a backup plan. Like, he goes in with plan A with no plan B. All right, what if it doesn't work? What am I going to do? Like,
he doesn't have a plan. Like, his plan, like his whole entire thing when he was spying on the Shinju, he didn't think he was gonna get caught.
Yeah,
he was like, yeah, I'm gonna see what they doing. Nigga got caught. He's like, why y'all not looking for Boruto? Nigga ain't know what to say, bro. He just started saying shit.
And he even says, I'll kill both Boruto and his comrades, when he knows the last time he fought Boruto, he got clapped. So in that vein, he's kind of similar to Kawaki, where they just keep getting beaten up until someone knocks some sense into them. So I feel like Code has to do a whole revamp of his situation to where he has to figure out a way to either get stronger or manipulate everything in the shadows, kind of like how Kabuto did in Shippuden, where we saw crumbs of Kabuto to where he was maneuvering, and then by the time he finally got what he needed, he became front and center of the conflict between the Fourth Great Ninja War. So it just has to depend on what are Code's long-term goals now. What can he do to level the playing field?
So I do think he might get something that like changes, like some type of transformation or power up. Like it might be in the plan for him, but like the more and more I read TBV, and each time it's like I consume its materials, it's like I'm starting to really digest the way I believe Ikimoto wants to portray the power. Like, yeah, I think it's flat out like, oh, character A is stronger than character B, but I also believe Ikimoto is taking free reigns and liberties. Is like, but tactics and smarts are something that's because like that has to be a major factor because we know early on in Naruto it's established if you don't apply chakra in this most basic or fundamental way of nature, regardless of how strong or how much chakra you got, you can get killed from something as simple as like a Rasengan. Like, so already from the jump, we know every time a ninja is entering a fight, they are enforcing their body with chakra. So if Mamushi is getting his head punched off by Chocho, if Boruto is slicing through 10 of them at once and it's going through like butter, it's like, well, that's showing me that not only well, you see the difference in Boruto taking out 10 at once and Chocho taking out one, but it's like, as a character, Mamushi, he's not utilizing his chakra in its fullest capabilities defensively to like reinforce his body to where he's actually strong enough to look Chocho in her face as she throw that punch and stand there. But since it's 200 of them running around, he doesn't have that. So I'm thinking Ikimoto is really keen on the details as opposed to just saying like, nah, they're stronger. Because if it was just that, Boruto versus Jura wouldn't have lasted that long. Kawaki, if y'all pay attention to that fight versus Jura, did not get touched once by Jura. And why? It's because it was established 2 chapters prior by Amato. Bro, you're damn near immortal right now. If you get stronger attack power, your defenses is weakened. And we saw prior to that, Kawaki got one-shotted by damn near every character he came across. And ever since he had this upgrade, no one has once laid their hands on Kawaki. So I'm paying attention to the small things Ikimoto is doing. And I'm thinking, it's like, and it plays even further into the idea. Well, how the fuck did Sasuke, right, walk down an army of Clawgrons and a stronger than Jigen opponent in Code and only went away with just being a tree when Code is charging at him saying, I'm going to kill you. So Code didn't complete his a mission at that point in time to kill Sasuke. So it's like, well, you can be stronger than someone, but I think Ikimoto is really, really banking on if the power difference isn't too big, i.e. someone like between Naruto and Sasuke versus Ishiki or Jigen, and even then he showed us glimpses. Well, there was at least 2 ways to defeat Jigen and 1 way to defeat Ishiki prior to Baryon mode, but those were very slim chances of happening. I think he's really wanting to show us like, if they can find an in and out, that's why all of these Shinjus has had a specific requirement to beat them.
Yes,
if they can find an in and out, any opponent can be taken out. I'm getting more and more into that.
Exactly. It's not always pure power. It's technique and finesse. It's catching your opponent off guard. It's looking underneath, seeing the hidden meanings behind the meanings. And your point was excellent. Like even with Boruto, for as strong as Boruto is, as a near omnipotent god that Boruto is, a full-blooded Otsutsuki, without his chakra, he really isn't any better than a normal human. Look at Ibiki putting him through hell, him starting to bleed. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how strong Boruto is. If you're cut off from your chakra, that's it. You're done for. Like look at this. Like same thing with Dragon Ball and other battle manga to an extent. Once you're cut off from your main source of power, you're cooked. Like with Dragon Ball, it's ki. With Naruto, it's chakra. I mean, if I had to give an example, just look at the Namek Saga when Goku and Ginyu swapped bodies. Goku's body wasn't weak. It's just Ginyu couldn't fully utilize Goku's body and wasn't smart enough or Goku enough to use the power in Goku's body, which allowed Krillin and Gohan to be able to beat quote unquote Goku.
He said Goku enough. You know what that's like.
I mean, he's not Goku. Like only Goku can utilize
I mean, that's
that
facts
body.
though,
No, yeah,
because he
that's
went
right.
through the training to obtain the power that body had,
And,
and
and
Jin didn't.
look at for example, if we take it a step further in Super, sure, Zamasu got stronger when he took Goku's body, but he wasn't using Goku's body to its fullest until he started acting like Goku physically. Once he physically met Goku, once he physically fought Goku and saw how Goku fought, he became stronger because he emulated Goku's fighting style.
Yeah, he mimicked it.
So if you have
Mhm.
someone like Mamushi who's not being able to utilize his full power anymore, you're gonna have situations where these people can't beat him because he's just not utilizing his body's full extent, the full extent of his body's powers.
Yeah.
And then I mean, it's kind of like I don't mean to go into Dragon Ball, but then he was immortal and he was like really manipulating their ability to get stronger the closer they come to death. So like that's why he was really strong in Goku's body, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think Ikimoto's doing a very subtle job, and because the more we complain, like even I had to get to a point because when I saw her punch off Mamushi's head, I was like, okay, hold on, maybe I'm looking at this wrong, and I was looking at it wrong, and it's not more so like I was just saying, oh, because character A is stronger than character B, character A always wins. No, there's obviously been exceptions, and it's been very prevalent throughout the history
Oh,
of Naruto.
100%.
Oh
And
yeah.
there's
But I
also
just think. Yep.
there
No,
you
I
go.
was gonna say, I just think it's a little bit more nuances that Ikimoto is adding when it comes to the Boruto era because of how much stronger everyone has gotten. So he's allowing windows of opportunity to where I believe we are approaching a point where it's disingenuous to say if someone is relevant in Boruto, they may be like one shot war arc Naruto characters because I'm like now I'm at a point where like now I gotta calculate experience. I gotta calculate fighting styles. Who's
Yes,
cocky? Who's not? Who's
but
very like analytical? Like that's I gotta calculate
yes. And
all that.
adding on to your point, there's also power interactions.
Yeah,
Someone could just have a perfect power counter. Like for example, Jigen's shrinking
shrinking
ability.
ability,
It was a
literally.
perfect counter to Sasuke and Naruto, especially because he could also shrink jutsu, B could also absorb jutsu, and it was just a perfect counter. It might have been a simple ability, like Sasuke said, but it was a dangerous ability.
That
Where
my hot take is you can give Jigen the karma, he can absorb whatever, but you take away that shrinking ability, Naruto and Sasuke whoops him in that
yes,
fight.
yes, which is
Naruto
why
and Sasuke whoops him in that fight.
arguably, even though Code is physically stronger than Jigen, Naruto and Sasuke at their primes might have potentially had an easier time against Code because Code doesn't have those broken hacks abilities.
Yeah,
Same thing with Araya. It's a situational fight. Araya is not at an Otsutsuki level of power. He just had specific circumstances that allowed him to combat Ryu to an extent.
yeah,
So it all goes back to how power works, and you know I'll use Pokemon as an example. A fire type will have an easier time beating a grass type, but they might lose to that water type who might be weaker than that grass type.
Super weak,
It's
yeah.
all about type advantage
matchups.
and how power affects power. So if you have someone, for example, if you have a ninjutsu specialist who's using only ninjutsu, a guy who can absorb ninjutsu will have an easier time beating that ninjutsu specialist, even if that ninjutsu specialist off raw stats is stronger. So it just goes to how different powers interact at the end
Yeah,
of the day.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, hacks always played a big role in Naruto. Like that was always like your hack's ability would make you stronger than the person who has a larger chakra pool than you. It didn't always matter about who had the larger chakra pool, who can make the bigger blast or whatever.
That's why I be so art like because the reason why I'm so adamant on Damon is like the hacks is OP like already, but it's like he's shown us not like he
Yeah,
is
that
physically strong as fuck too. So I'm like, well, damn. So where's the weak point when it comes to this character, Damon? Because he's shown us speed, he's shown us all of these things. So I'm like, it's gonna be very nuanced to how
yes,
these characters get defeated. Because even
because
with
that's the
Naruto,
outlier.
bro,
Because
like
that's
how
the
you,
outlier. Because Damon's not a one-trick pony. He has the
yeah,
physical power to back it up.
the versatility. It's like everybody. It's like back then, bro. Naruto is Michael Jordan. You feel me? And then Sasuke, you got the Magic Johnson, the other people. But like now in the 2020s, we got Cade Cunninghams, we got John Morant, we got Shea Gildress. It's like everybody's doing the Michael Jordan highlight these days. You feel
And
me?
I think
So
Yeah.
I'm not too into basketball, but a couple of my friends were going crazy yesterday about Adebayo. I don't
the
remember his
fucking
name.
second leading scorer in the NBA for the highest points ever. Damn out of fucking bio. Right? History of 20, 30 years from now, people are going to be talking like, damn, Bam out of bio must have been. Nah, right now we're still talking about LeBron. Right now we're talking about Victor Wembanyama. We're talking about Anthony Edwards. But then you just throwing that random like, oh, but Bam out of bio dropped 83 points that one Tuesday. It's like we're just in a
That one
talented era.
Tuesday.
You know what I'm saying? Like we're in a talented. It goes for the same thing for the ninjas. We're in a
One
talented
Tuesday.
era where like niggas is just really out here. So it's not just out like Naruto. It's more people like that. Like you said, like Damon is now one of those people. But I'm looking at it like hacks wise. Damon is not just freakishly strong, but his hacks make it damn near
He
impossible.
is.
So it's like
Dude really hit code with that yeehaw. Like he even surprised Bug, who thought knowing how
how his
Damon's
ability
ability
works.
worked would be
Yeah,
enough, but he miscalculated the physical difference in power between Code and Bug. And we know that even if you
Yeah.
remove Damon's hacks abilities, physically he's still like the gap between Jigen and Code and Damon is still a wide gap to where you can still argue
it's tears.
that even Boruto as he is right now isn't as strong physically compared to Damon. I mean,
Nah,
he
it's tears.
saw he
Like
saw that planetary spin and said nifty.
yeah,
He's
Nigga
like
Bug said he's
Ikimoto's
all
making it
bark and
plain.
bite.
we
Ikimoto's
also
making it plain. It's like it's tears to this shit. Like
yeah, we also
if
got to
you're not
remember
even in the same tier, it's not gonna be a possibility.
exactly. We also got to remember that Damon seems to have sensing abilities. He seems to be a good judge of power
Mm.
from sensing Himawari's future power set, for the resonance between her abilities and Kurama's. He was able to sense how Uzehiko worked. Kawaki has had his power released for a while now, and he's in the village. Damon still doesn't care. So
That's true.
we got to see the nuance. That's why I said debating the actual fight is a moot point, because we're going to see what's going to happen. We just have to see the nuance of how the fight happens.
The thing,
Because
no, go ahead, finish that last.
I was going to say because the way Koji makes it seem, it's not going to be a 1-to-1 pure power situation. So we just have to see the nuance of how Mamushi maneuvers or tries to outmaneuver Damon. That'll be what decides the arc.
Yeah,
I think it'll be Damon's. I think it'll be Damon's cockiness that really is what's really going to get him. Because no, like honestly, like you make a great point. Like Kawaki's been walking around the village. Damon hasn't really been caring. There's a whole bunch of Mamushis around the village. Damon doesn't seem to be too alarmed, except for them coming after his sister. But he doesn't seem like he really cares as far as like being able to defeat them. But Koji, on the other hand, seems like Koji doesn't think that Damon will be able to defeat him by himself. So, like, I think Damon's cockiness will be his downfall, honestly.
I think it might be a major factor into playing into his downfall. For sure. I think someone like yeah, like Ryzen said, and to the points that you bring up, Ikimoto is really just showing us, and there's all these subtle hints throughout TBV, but like I'm like from the jump, bro. Like from part one, I was always like Ikimoto, or for the most part, whoever was writing Boruto, I'm like, y'all, like these little sentences mean something, right? So in the part one, when Amado's explaining, right, Kawaki just came and reawakened his karma seal, and you know what I'm saying, Cole planted the thing on Shikamaru's neck and stuff like that. They just came from dealing with all of that, right? And Shikamaru's like, yeah, Kawaki's undoubtedly the strongest person in the village right now. So Naruto and Sasuke can't keep his powers in check. Amado and just pulled back up to the village with Ada and Damon. Damon's there listening to everything. They're debriefing everything. And then Amado starts explaining Damon and Ada's ability. And then he goes on to explain, like, yeah, Kawaki right now, he unlocked Ishiki's power. But not only that, he's continuing to grow stronger. He's only going to get stronger. Damon heard all of this, bro. Mind you, Kawaki's being compared not to Naruto Sasuke. He's going to get compared to a perfect Ishiki. The Ishiki, who they emphasize, revived through Kawaki's body at that point in time, will destroy the world. He heard all of this. He said, it doesn't matter how strong this nigga Kawaki gets. That's why I've been on from part one. He said it. Like, he told Cole, like, bro, Otsutsuki, Naruto, Sasuke, that don't matter. But he heard everything explained about Kawaki's power, about him getting close to Ishiki's power. He smirked. as he was right there laying on Ada's lap, and he said, "It doesn't matter." And mind you, he was eating in this scene too. He was like, "It doesn't matter how
And he
strong
had
this
on a
nigga
onesie.
Kawaki gets. I'm gonna be able to handle him."
Which
Like,
And
which
he
is
had on a
why
onesie.
I really
To
wish
say that in a onesie is crazy, bro. Like just to like,
drinking a sippy cup with milk too.
yeah,
like
like to proclaim
literally,
you're the
bro.
strongest in a onesie is absolutely insane.
Like
Which
he
is
But he
why
kind
heard
of
all of this, bro. So I'm like, even since part one, I believe in Damon's mind, he was like, yeah, niggas
you
was
know who
probably
Damon
did
remind
this.
me of? Before I forget, he reminds me of Ness from Super Smash Brothers. I don't know if you remember Ness from Super Smash
yes.
Brothers, old ass game, but he kind of reminds me of him, bro. Like Ness was the strongest in the game for a while.
Which is why I feel like Damon is just that revolving goalpost, like kind of like Beerus, where we think we know where we can scale him at up to, but then there's always a situation that just has to that forces us to put him at a higher level of power. Which is why
Yeah,
I wish
bro.
they showed us a flashback of how Damon got sealed in the first place. Because
That's what
I'm
I was
drawing a
just about
blank.
to say.
Because if he had a shutdown code, that shutdown code would have been useful, like to Amado, before trying to do a Hail Mary to convince them. So it feels like they don't have shutdown codes. So it's just confusing on how they would have gotten sealed in the first place.
It's either Ikimoto's just never gonna explain that, or it's something to do with like Damon's loyal. Like, I think we're gonna get introduced to aspect of his character that shows us a flaw that's like, okay, that makes sense as to how they even got shut down. Because it's like with Ada, like it's one thing to be like, oh, don't kill me, just store me and my brother away. Like that doesn't really seem as much as like, hey, we're gonna hide over here in this island. Don't tell Jigen. You know, like how was that fucking hard? But then it's like it's too many details. I think Ikimoto is probably either not going to do it because it's like too many. He has to explain why they got sealed and how it
All
fits
right,
into the
Bakuchia,
story.
you're the Damon fan, so I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So if I put poison in Damon's food and I just leave it in the fridge and he goes to eat that poison, will that reflect? Will he die? Or will he get incapacitated through poison? Or do you think it'll reflect?
Okay, give me a second. Do you want the David fan answer or the Sports Center analysis answer?
Whichever one you want. I'm interested in both.
Well, okay, as a Damon's fan, he's gonna eat it. He's gonna taste the poison. He's gonna adapt to it on some Maharaga shit. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna be
I
like, oh,
respect
it's
that.
spicy.
I
You know?
respect that.
Nah, but like on some real Sports Center analytics, I think that might work because intent to kill is reflected and physical attacks are reflected. If you put poison in his food, now if you sit there and watch him eat, I think both of y'all are gonna die because you're thinking about him dying and he's gonna take a bite and y'all both gonna die
I
at the same
agree.
time.
I agree.
But yeah, so like I think and that's the key. Inanimate attempt, like inanimate object. So like
license.
don't attack Damon, attack the building that's above Damon and let the rubble fall on him. You know
I
what I'm
agree because
saying?
Bro,
I think part
Heisenberg would have got rid of Damon already, bro. He would've
I
been-
agree because in my mind I feel like it might have been Boro. It might have been Boro's spores. Like
Mm.
if the spores are just in the air,
Yeah, that's why I was
there's
like,
nothing
Boro had to have had a way. Now that you mentioned that, that's probably how he incapacitated them. But his capacity or love for Ada like made him
prevented
destroy
him
them
from
as
like
opposed to
killing them, so he
yeah,
just stored them.
yeah. That's
His
actually
sword.
possible. Yeah. Because yeah, Boro, it would make sense. But I think like he would have to do a whole lot of explaining if he explains how they got sealed away at this point. Because if Jigen, if he's already confirmed statement wise, he's stronger than Jigen. And
He
then
is.
he himself believes he's stronger than Ishiki. How the fuck did y'all seal this nigga away without his own willful, like, I'm gonna go to sleep.
That's why I hope we eventually get a flashback, whether that be in the anime or the manga. I just it's just something I just want explained. I'm just really interested in that topic.
Yeah. I think, bro, I think we get some more. This is why part of the reason why I'm like Ada's gonna be here like for the long run. Her and Damon's story is gonna be very prevalent. Like I think these, because technically speaking, these are Ikimoto's babies. Like Naruto, Sasuke, Boruto, Sarada, and Mitsuki, that's all Kishimoto. You know what I'm saying? All of that shit is Kishimoto. The Kara organization, Kishimoto, right? Ikimoto got the story. They got far somewhere down to the plot, and then he was like, "Fuck it, let's create." Like Damon and Ada, he created those characters while they were in the middle of the story. So, like, I believe he has a lot of heart and care and plan for both of those characters.
You think Amado is the only one who knows the Well, besides Bug, probably who knows like the counter to Damon's abilities.
Probably, but then I
Well,
wouldn't. He's playing in the domain of gods. I don't know.
yeah, the problem is knowing how the ability works and being able to take advantage of it is two different things.
I mean,
We
giving
know that.
people that knowledge of how the ability, like the intricacies of the ability. Like
Yeah,
if
so
he
for
told
right now,
Sasuke that,
for,
Sasuke would probably be able to break it down.
the problem is if we take them at face value, for example, uh there's two ways to Damon's ability. One is killing his intent. You can counter he can counter your intent if you focus on him. Another
Yeah,
thing is him reflecting attacks, but he needs to be touching someone. So
yeah,
if you can keep your mind calm and outmaneuver him without him touching you or anyone else, in theory you can beat him. That's what Bug thought. He overestimated Code's physical stats. Damon's
yeah.
physical stats are just so up there that even if he never uses his abilities, you're still fighting a person who's just incredibly strong. To where even Damon said it himself when he was fighting Boruto and Kawaki, he wouldn't use his reflect, and he still beat them physically. And they were like part one. Boruto and Kawaki were still pretty strong, and was still able to outmuscle both of them.
And to your point, like it's like crack because we see Cole test out the ability when they first introduced Damon. And it's established that this shit is autonomous, right? Like he don't even have to be thinking about it. But then we see that Damon can still willfully deactivate this
Yeah, like
ability.
he even
So
said,
like he can turn it
sorry.
on, but he don't even have to focus on keeping it on. But he can turn it off willingly as
Exactly.
well. So it's
Hmm.
like, and also, we might have to consider if it's like a chakra consumption thing. How many jutsus he reflect? How big of a? Because I never really thought about it till now. Like how big of an attack he reflects? How much chakra does it consume to
Yes.
automatically force him
And
to
it
turn off the ability? Like
and
we don't
adding
we
on to
know
your
that.
point, it
Do
could
y'all
just be a
think that?
stamina issue. Like that could be it could be as simple as that, to where if Mamushi's gonna keep responding infinity
Damn,
and he
it
runs out of
really might
chakra, he'll
just
get
be.
tired at
It,
some point. He's not an
it
infinite.
might just
He's
be a
not a Dragon Ball
stamina
Z
thing for
android.
Damon.
That would be hilarious though. If it's as simple as that. Dang, I ran
But
out of
think about it.
stamina.
How many of the plot reveals we wait for
Or
Ikimoto to reveal? How many of them are so simple but just so
Yeah.
like it works?
And
what if him using his ability too much makes him overheat, kind of like Ada. Oh, not Ada. Sorry,
Kawaki. Kawaki and the other
Kawaki
cyborgs.
and yeah, what's her name?
Delta.
Delta. There you go. Yeah,
Yeah,
she
that could
overheated.
also be it. Plus, I don't
I don't
think they
think it's
even
probably
get
like a
maintenance.
stamina thing, honestly.
Yeah, that
It
could
could be
100%
so.
be a
It could
thing.
be the intent can consume a lot of yin chakra, and then the physical thing is like it's just a matter of like getting him solo, like
But
because it's
I don't see them. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I don't see him getting
no no.
tired, bro. He's an android at the end of the day. It's kind of like I hate to bring it back
That
to
nigga
Dragon Ball
Kawaki
Z,
got tired hella
Yeah.
times, bro.
but he's not an android though. He's a human. They're
Nah,
androids.
he's
No,
a
they're still cyborgs. They're
nah.
all
They're
cyborgs.
cyborgs, bro. They're
Yeah,
all
they were
cyborgs.
humans. So like
Well, they were human
Ada
at
was
once. Yeah,
born.
that's true. Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
they are cyborgs.
so I feel like we've seen
but
Kawaki
they're
get tired.
superior cyborgs though. Like they can put it to like where it's like kind of like they're 17 and 18. 17, 18, they don't get tired, bro. Shout
Yes,
out to
but
Kevin Gates.
the
But
reason they
Ikimoto's backdoor to all of this was remember Amato is he's fiddling around in an area that he has no idea. Like
yes.
that's what
Yeah.
Momoshiki said. He's playing in the domains of God, so he don't know. He thought he had a good idea, but he ultimately he don't know what the fuck he was doing to these kids. Pause.
Yeah.
Yes. And actually free game.
Made an island for them.
I just remembered something. I don't think Delta got tired stamina
No,
wise.
no, that's why I was bringing that up. But Delta
So
is fully 100% fully functional side Android
Yeah,
though.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. She's an
she's
android.
not human at all.
it would just have to depend on she's still organic to an extent. She just has other
And
bodies. She has
also
other bodies.
she has
But
a thing too, because
she's a
remember when she fought
clone.
Naruto, Naruto was like, you can't shoot those eye beams off too much. It takes too much
Yeah.
chakra. And Delta was like, yeah, but I just need one shot. So like I think
Uh,
it could be a thing. It could be a chakra thing with this nigga Damon. It could be.
yeah.
I feel like it just has to depend on whether they're like Kawaki or more like Delta, because Kawaki still needs to eat, he still needs to sleep, he still needs to regain energy. If Damon's in that same situation to where he doesn't have an infinite stamina system, and
This
he
dude's
needs
been
energy.
sleeping every chapter, bro. Like he got all the energy he needs.
At some point, for as strong as Damon is, he's gonna be tired. He's gonna need to eat, and he's gonna need to restore his stamina. So if he's not playing it smart and he's not destroying Mamushi's eyes, at some point it might be as simple as Damon's losing stamina and he's losing chakra to where he can't keep up at some point in the battle. It'll just overwhelm him. So I wonder how Ikamoto could do it, because we've seen Koji say if he gets too out of hand, he will overwhelm you guys. We have Shikanai also saying, yeah, they're destroying them, but they just keep coming and we're getting tired. So it'll be interesting to see if it's as simple as a stamina situation, because we've seen that before in Naruto, to where if your stamina runs out, you're basically screwed for other battles. It doesn't really matter how strong you are. Once you're tired, you're kind of done for.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's like a certain pool of chakra. They like a chakra reserve. If they hit that and
exactly
deplete it, they absolutely.
And it's never been really clear to how much chakra they're using, because so far all Damon's been doing is taijutsu and then his shinjutsu ability. So we don't know how much chakra he's using to amp himself up and to use the shinjutsu.
Yeah, that's true.
It could be either strenuous or just chakra exhausting.
And then if he is in the same vein as Delta, and say he physically doesn't get a stamina drain, he would still have a chakra drain. There's no such thing so far as infinite chakra.
Yeah.
There's large chakra, but we haven't seen infinite chakra. So
yeah. Amado isn't Tony Stark. We understand that.
Dude just
can't
put
create other elements.
Just put an arc reactor in Daemon. He's just self-sustaining chakra reactor.
Yeah. Shit, Tony Stark had to create a whole new element for that, bro. It just wasn't simple as an arc reactor. This thing is, he just created a whole new element. That's wild. That's wild. But no, I gotta dip out though, guys. This was dope. We got to do another one pretty soon, because we ain't really been doing it too much. We skipped it like a week or something like that, right?
Yeah, we skipped last week.
Yeah. They'll be all right. Hey, we'll see. We'll catch y'all next time. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Black Rising, I'll text y'all later.
Talk to you guys later.
All right, guys.